Hi, it's Gavin here from Solas, and I'm joined this afternoon by Andy Bannister from Solas, our director, and also Mike Causey, who is the new CEO at the Abernethy Trust. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking about some work that these two organizations are going to be doing together, a new exciting partnership, which is starting to develop and is going to run over the next year. But first of all, I want to say to you, Mike, could you tell anybody from, I guess, the Solas end of things, who are Abernethy? What do you do? What is your organization about?
Abernethy is about representing Christ in the outdoors. We are a network of 4 outdoor centres, although slimming down in this difficult season. We've been around for 49 years, started with a desire to reach people for Jesus Christ. We teach people outdoor education, but more than that, we live an adventure with them. We want to live a physical adventure and a spiritual adventure. We love people coming, they stay with us. We take them on expeditions or daily activities and adventures, and we preach the word to them.
Excellent. And you're in the process right now of relaunching the Abernethy School of Adventure Leadership, isn't that right? So
Yes.
could you tell us a little bit about what the School of Adventure Leadership is about, what its aims are, and how you deliver on those aims?
Yeah, absolutely. The School of Adventure Leadership started about 20 years ago in one of our centres, moved after 10 years to another one, but for 20 years grew to a place where every year we would have around 12 individuals who would come and spend the entire year with us. During that year, they would learn a number of different leadership skills in the outdoors. And at the same time, they'd live as an intentional missional community. They'd bind together around the word as much as they would bind together around the outdoors. This relaunch is to have an even greater emphasis and more content in that area of spiritual formation and forming leaders for Christ. And so our emerging, the start of our partnership with Solas is incredibly important to us as we do that.
So Andy, what has this got to do with Solas? How is Solas going to be contributing to this, and how's this partnership going to form?
Well, aside from the fact that as the leader of Solas, I love the outdoors, so there is an obvious affinity there. We're about two things at Solas. We're obviously about evangelism and taking the gospel out of the four walls of the churches and into pubs and restaurants and universities and coffee shops and so on. But we are also passionately committed to teaching and training others to share their faith in a way that's just natural and engaging, kind of conversational evangelism, conversational apologetics. And so what excites us, and I've been involved in similar programs when I was back based in North America, what excites me about the program that Abernethy are putting together, the prospect of getting a group of young people, young adults together for a short season, giving them a great experience of the outdoors, and so much you can learn there, but wrapped around that context of learning about themselves, learning about God, learning about the scriptures, but also learning how to communicate that passion that they have for Jesus to others. So this is a very natural fit. And as I say, I was involved in something similar in the US a few years ago and just love doing it because there's something about teaching in that outdoor setting. If you're teaching about what it means that God is a God of beauty, a God who's created everything around us, and you're actually there in the natural world, that's a very powerful message. And to get that into the young people and help them share that with others who share their passion for things outdoors can be tremendous. And so at Solas, we want to multiply and replicate ourselves. We don't think it's just our job to do evangelism. We want to help others do it too.
Excellent. Solas always seem to work with other people. So this is a new partnership. Why is Solas so plugged into partnerships in the gospel?
Well, there's a couple of reasons I think behind that, Gavin. We're a small organisation, a team of sort of 5 or 6 of us. So we've a limited amount of resources in terms of what we can do. But also, I've long sort of thought that Solas, in some ways, I suppose analogy would be a little bit like the sort of SAS, that we specialise in certain things. There's a small number of us, and we can do some things really well. And I think early on we figured out as an organisation what we want to do is do those things well, particularly in injecting that DNA into others in terms of evangelism. So look, God hasn't called us to run great outdoor programs or train dozens of young people in a program like the Abernethy folks are doing, but we can help their program. God hasn't called us to have a permanent presence on university campuses, but we work with Christian unions. And God hasn't called us to start churches. There's a perfectly good local church in so many settings, but we can help the local church. And so in our DNA is coming alongside others, resourcing them in the areas that God has equipped us to be specialists, because that way we can be so much more effective. And also we're not trying to replace what other people are doing. Abernethy are doing a tremendous job, and it's our privilege to come alongside and help them and resource them where we can. And so we love partnering with others.
That's tremendous. So Mike, if a young person was considering coming and joining the School of Adventure Leadership for the year, what would you say to them about what they would gain in the course of a year? Where would they be in a year's time that they're not now? And where would they go to find out more information about how to apply and what the requirements are?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first and primary aim of our School of Adventure Leadership is about spiritual formation. It's about how we know our identity is in Christ, and how do we continue to discover that? What does it mean for our lives? And the context we have is the outdoors. So many of the activities they'll undertake during the year is to pursue certain qualifications. So there are up to 8 or 9 different qualifications that they could get. Absolutely, everyone needs to be working hard, and in the outdoors, it takes time and effort. But we'll be here for them. A great team of instructors, but not only that, a great team of Bible teachers. So Solas, as we pursue equipping people how to gossip the gospel in the spirit of 1 Thessalonians, perhaps, or be gospel fluent. And combining that with the outdoors, like Andy was saying, he loves the outdoors. Well, how can we enable people to know how to use teachable moments in the outdoors where we see something and the only natural response is to wonder at God, his glory, the way his word perhaps uses that same context. And we do that naturally. We don't need a massive agenda. We simply need his agenda, which is his Great Commission and the context whenever we find ourselves in it. Yeah. So we hope that individuals will learn more about their faith, more about their amazing God, and what do they do with that as they learn these qualifications and then get sent out to wherever is next.
That's great. And where should somebody go to find out more or to apply?
Yeah, so our website, abernethy.org.uk, is a new website. Actually, it goes live this weekend. The present website has all our contact information in, but hit that website this weekend and Monday, you'll see a new site, and on there is a clear area there about the School of Adventure Leadership, a great leaflet you can download, pass on to others, but also a way to contact us and contact our Chief Adventure Officer, James, who would love to speak to anyone who would be interested in joining us this coming year.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Mike. We're tremendously excited to be part of this new partnership.
Yeah.
It just looks brilliant thing to be involved with. So just to repeat that, if you want to know anything more about Solas, go to solas-cpc.org. And if you want to know anything more about Abernethy, go to abernethy.org.uk, and all the information you'll need is on there. Thanks.